Hey, good morning. Yes, it is. It's Monday, February 26th. And it's 4:20 a.m. here in upstate New York. So, been getting good responses, and I appreciate all the questions that are left and people answering them in the comments. And I thought we'd go through a couple of those quick. And then move on to what I call mood swings. Hang tight. So welcome back. My name is Eric. If you didn't know, this is the weekday show, Monday through Friday. And then I usually put out 1 or 2 videos on the weekend. So today we're talking about mood swings. But before we get to that, let me tell you how my weekend went. And that was, I've got 5 or 6 steers that are of butchering age. And my regulars, I got a hold of them to see if they're interested in any more meat right now, and they were going to get back with me. But Claude says, why not do a video and put it on Facebook of you talking about your cows, show pictures of your cows, break it down for them, what the costs are, see what happens. So I did that. And I was surprised of how many people come back quick. They said, Eric, you got to make it shareable. So I had to go to Google and look up how do you make it shareable. So it says, edit acquaintances or whatever and then make it public. So I've got some more questions that I have to answer to folks this morning that sent messages last night because most people are on my schedule. And when I say my schedule, usually I'm in bed by 8 o'clock at night. I turn off all my devices, as far as the computer, phones, anything like that, at around 4:30, 3 o'clock normally, but 4:30. So, and I've learned in the past that you guys that live by your cell phones and live like it's part of you, is if I sent you a message this morning at 4:20, good chances are you're going to look at it and want to respond. And why wake somebody up? See, I did that with my son a couple times, and now I don't send anybody messages until I think it's a good enough time, instead of being so early in the morning that they're getting interrupted sleep. And I did a video on that, of how important a good night's sleep is. A good restful sleep, so that you're ready to go like a bull the following day. So I'll get back to them this morning around 8. I almost sent a message to the one guy this morning at 5 after 4, and it's like, whoa. He may be like your son. He may be living by that phone. If that phone makes a noise, he's on it. So if you guys are that way, or if you're that way, shut your phone off. Now, I mentioned that I have a landline. And landline is actually a regular phone in the house. And it's unlisted. Only the people that are important to me have that number. And they all laugh. It's kind of like, don't call dad unless you have, somebody died or you got a limb hanging that you got to have sewed back on. But most things can wait till morning. All right, so I'll jump into some of your questions and comments. Peter, I see that all the time. You had mentioned that, doing a track job on a snowmobile takes on average 3 to 4 hours. And I don't know if I could do it in 3 to 4 hours. And I used to work on screws quite a bit. My own, not somebody else's. And the big thing is knowing exactly what you're doing. And if I get a person that is coming back at me that direction by saying, well, the internet says it only takes 45 minutes instead of 3 to 4 hours, I tell them, knock yourself out. Pick it up, take it home. Do it in 45 minutes, let me know how you turned out. I guarantee you he's not going to do it 45 minutes. And yeah, it does hurt reputable shops that if the book says 3 to 4 hours and a mechanic is doing it, I mean, we've had this discussion before. Jason and Travis could really step in on this one. But if the book tells you so many hours and you get it done faster and you're being flat rated, that's how you make your money, right? And I'll wait for Jason and or Travis to chime in. But for an average mechanic that hasn't done that job very often, it may take him 5 to 6 hours the first couple of times, and he's losing money. And he's losing money until he finds ways to shorten that time period. And that comes with experience and knowledge and wisdom. It's all interweb, it's interchanged. But no, I don't think it. You got the guys that are trying to one-up each other on, the different forums that you go to. If you search Google, track repair may take you to a snowmobile forum where they're, my dick is bigger than your dick, blah, blah, blah. And I don't even get into it. And neither should you. That's beneath you. The customer I want is the one that trusts me and knows that I will take care of them. And I will get the job done and I'll do it right. I'm not one of those guys on the forum. And then the YouTube videos. Claude is running into this because I laugh at him. Because he'll tell me that a video showed how it only took so long. But what they aren't showing you is, let's say, well, it varies so often. But what ends up happening is, like, to take a snap ring off an axle, let's say that, they show that it only takes 10 minutes. But what they aren't showing you is all the prep that went into getting to that snap ring. And you may be sitting there heating and beating it to get, and it's taking you a lot of prep time to get to that point. And then when you get to that point for the easy fix, because I've seen this a lot on the Massimos, I've seen this a lot on the four-wheelers, side-by-sides, guys posting videos of how quick and easy it is. Vehicles, not so much, lawn and garden, but we all know what it takes for time. And if you're charging your customer, what flat rate is, what book rate is, that's fine. I wouldn't worry about it. Actually, a lot of times I always thought flat rate was actually shorter than it should have been on some projects. But the way I approach anything at the shop when it comes to billing and stuff is, like, I had this tractor that's in the shop right now that should have been out of this shop 2 weeks ago. It came in non-running, a Ford 641, and got it running, but the generator was bad on it. And there's nobody around that does rebuilds generators. So we talked the gal into going with a one-wire alternator, GM, that we ordered online. And it's from Chinese sellers. Yeah. So we got it in and we tried it. And we couldn't get the alternator to charge. And it came with the post, where the one wire goes, it came with it being bent. So I got a hold of the seller and said, look, it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I just simply want to return it, exchange it. Send me one that works. So they're like, no, we don't want it. We don't want it back. We just don't want a bunch of pictures. And they're stalling, and they still haven't refunded me yet. And I still have that alternator. So I ordered another one because I needed to get it in here to get this job out. All right. So I put that alternator on it, get that all set up. Then the tractor stops running correctly. It starts like overfueling. We're trying to figure what the hell's going on. And when the second alternator, when it first arrived, we put it on and we checked the charging and it's putting out 14, which is just where we wanted it. And Claude was getting it buttoned up, and then it started going into a fit. Blowing black smoke, the plug wires are coming out black. Just, we have done top dead center, firing order, making sure the timing is correct, fuel is fresh, everything. And we've done this so many times. And we've had that carburetor off at least 6 times, trying to figure out what's going on. All right. So we're sitting there Friday brainstorming. I told Claude, I said, look, now you changed the bulbs over to 12 volt because the 6 volt ones weren't working, even through the, I'm trying to think what the name of it is, but it converts it back to 6, so you're not getting 12 volt to the bulbs. I said, now, if the carburetor is good, the timing is good, it's got to be something electrical that's either drawing from the system or overhitting it in the system. And he fought me up and down all week about this. I kept telling him, it's electrical. So we had another carburetor from a different machine. We put that on, and that didn't make a difference. But I said, you know what? I'm shutting it off. I shut it off. I undid the wire to the alternator. I said, we're going to start here and see if that changes anything. And the minute we took that wire off that alternator, that tractor began to run good. And the minute Claude took that wire back over and touched the post on the alternator, it would go into a fit again. Now, this is the second alternator from the same company. All right? That was putting out 14 volts when he first started, before he started buttoning things up to get ready to send it home last week. Come to find out that with it running and the one wire off from the alternator, we hooked, because we have an alternator tester we can take and put it, ground to one side and then put the hot on the one post, and it pegged and it never come back. It just stayed maxed out on our unit that we check to see what the batteries are like and if it's charging. So there's 2 alternators, that piece of crap. But second alternator was putting out so much that it was over-energizing the system, overheating everything. So now today we have to find out, is it the coil? Did it screw up the coil? Check the points, make sure it didn't burn them up. All because of another alternator that we thought would work. I'm going back to my old tried and true. If you guys ever need electrical car parts and this and that, DB Electric, I'm going to give a huge shout out to them, because I have never in the last 15 years of buying alternators off from them on eBay ever had a bad one. This Chinese seller, 2 for 2. Now I got 2 pieces of crap that are worthless, and I'm fighting to get my money back on those. I don't want the alternators. They can have them back. But that's what I mean, Peter, by we've got 2 extra weeks into this. It should have been a simple fix. That wasn't the customer's fault. That Claude got paid for it. That me and the shop is going to eat because of this issue. I can't bill the customer any more hours than I had 2 weeks ago. It should have been done, should have been out of here. So that's what I mean by sometimes people don't realize how much time it takes and how much henpecking you have to do to find the culprit in the system. So let's get on to the other topic. But before we get there, if you find that, I'm concentrating too much on a certain type of video, that you'd rather see other types of videos, chime up anytime you want. I kind of try to cover a little bit of everything. I know this is, Northern New York parts, small engine repairs. And it probably does send a mixed message when somebody shows up looking at the channel name and what it does, and then they come to find out that, he's talking about relationships and, because I truly believe when it comes to business, you have to have all the bases covered, right? You can't be really good at business and then your home life suffer. That's not successful. You're successful maybe at the business aspect of it, but your kids are all screwed up and you're divorced. I try to give you a well-rounded where you know that the family and the wife and kids are just as important as that business. And sometimes we lose sight of that. But if there's a video you want me to do something on, or you want to concentrate more on a certain thing and less on other, I don't know unless you guys tell me. So don't be afraid to chime in anytime you want to. And I know I do a lot of videos. So, and a lot of times trying to keep caught up with me becomes a hassle. But that's where you can set your own, time of watching me 1 or 2 a week, if that's all the time you have. Anything is greatly appreciated. You don't need to watch every one of them every time I put one out. I'm building a library so that anytime that you have a question on something, hopefully I have addressed it or will address it in the near future. Alright, so we're getting close to 20 minutes, so I think I'm going to cut it off there, and we'll talk about mood swings tomorrow. Sometimes I get onto a topic, I never know where it's going to lead and how long it's going to take. But on that note, you guys have a great Monday. I'll see you here bright early tomorrow morning, and we'll see what transpires. On that note, you guys have a great day.